the first Sunday after I moved to Charlottesville, Virginia, in July of 1988, I sat down in one of the back pews of what was then known as TJMC UU. And that has made all the difference. It took me a few years before I was ready to sign the membership book, where you will find my name near the now Reverend Leah Derlin Jones, because we joined on the same day. It took a few more years before I began in earnest the journey that would lead me here to serve as the minister of the Unitarian Universalist congregation in Blacksburg. And all along the way, it was the church in Charlottesville that taught me, supported me, encouraged me, and challenged me, which loved me into ministry. So much of what I have become is because of what I learned in Charlottesville. And it was in this church that I was married, and finally, when I was ordained. So, you can see why this church is important to me. But the thing is, this church isn't important just to me or to you, but to the wider Unitarian Universalist movement. And it has nothing to do with what its name used to be. As long as you were Thomas Jefferson Memorial Church, your legacy pointed back to him. But your true legacy lies not to the past, but to the present and the future. And one of the greatest gifts of this congregation is its work in the formation of religious professionals. Back when I was sitting in the pews, I watched ministers being formed with interns like Judy Wells, Todd Strickland, and Ed Piper, who served the UU Fellowship in Waynesboro. As I became more involved, I watched my good friends, fellow Dream Group member Susan Carlson, and fellow worship associate Alex McGee, as they headed off to seminary. And then it was my turn. This fall, we celebrated yet another ministry nurtured by this church when we ordained Reverend Leah. Looking ahead, I'm excited about the future ministries of Adam Slate and Kirsten Fritz. I think also of some of the young people with whom I worked as an advisor for YRUU, who are now out in the world doing amazing things. Like Lenore Dukes, who is already a leader among her peers as a religious educator. Look around you now. Who among the current members, the youth, the children, will lead us all into the future? As much as I love this church, as much as you love this church, I encourage you to think about the important role it has played and will continue to play in the wider UU world. Think of the lives that have been and will be touched by those nurtured into religious professions by this congregation. As you consider how much you feel called to pledge this year, think about how your generosity will stretch far beyond Charlottesville. What an awesome legacy. What an awesome gift to Unitarian Universalism and to the wider world.